Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Wednesday Show. I'm Hammer. I'm joined by my two favorite Wednesday Show hosts, Jen T. Maxey.
Hello.
And Terry DeMantis.
Hello.
How you doing, Jen?
I'm well. How about yourself?
You sound like you're in a good mood.
I'm trying to be.
Cool. I'm also in a good mood. Terry, how are you? You tired?
Of course. But I would like to correct the theme song. I can be serious. I just prefer not to be.
True. Me too.
That's the whole story about how that came about. That's You cannot be serious. It's crazy. Someday we'll get into it. Before we get into the topics, why don't we go ahead and say hi to everybody in chat?
That's
Jen?
an excellent idea. So,
All right.
We've got Kevidan, we've got Tier, we've got JB. Lots of people. I know Corson is there towards the end. I think that might be everyone. I'm not seeing any new names. Okay. I think that's everyone. As always, if I missed you, I'm sorry.
Okay, Jen, you're going second, I guess.
Alrighty. I kind of saw that. we're used to habits. Hi,
Yes.
Hammer.
Hi.
Hi, Kevidan. Hi, Mike Gar. For some reason, I thought she was going to respond. I'm like, she's not here. Hi, Rotten.
Could be here.
Hi, Tier. And happy birthday, Kevidan. I know I said hi to you already, but you know, wanted to say it properly.
What are you, like, not 22 or 23 or something? Any chance to be smooth, you know, and compliment a woman, I'm going to take it every time.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that everybody in chat?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go ahead and at least read the topics tonight for a change.
Yeah.
Just to be different. It's near the end of the month. I think we should do something a little different. We have 3 topics. Francis, of course, about Pope Francis.
Oh, I thought that was Francais, as in like something to do with France.
It's funny how he spells his name with the A in there. I don't know. At least that's how it was spelled on the CNN website. So
no, it just looks funny. So that's my brain didn't see that as Francis. It saw it as like Francais.
Francais. But he has passed, and he has left the Catholics without leadership at the moment. A couple of people are vying. It's amazing how political a religious group is, that they're now vying for leadership. Apparently that's important. Delayed formal charge. Well, not, I shouldn't say formal charges, but the White House is saying that Zelensky is intentionally preventing a solution to the war. They're intentionally prolonging it. So that came out today.
But why would they want the free money to stop?
I guess because we're not giving them any free money. They must be getting it from somebody else. And then finally, ripped. The Tesla dealership sustained 6 damaged vehicles due to arson. And the prosecution decided not to press charges on him. He caused $20,000 worth of damage, killed 6 cars. And the county attorney, Mary Moriarty, said, no, let's do diversion. So he's not going to be found guilty of anything. And boy, are the Republicans pissed.
Mad?
Oh my God.
Rightfully so. Why are they allowed to act like terrorists?
Well, again, we're talking about a right-wing judge, or I'm sorry, a left-wing judge who has backing from Soros specifically.
Yeah, I'm okay with some of these judges getting impeached. Kind of like the one who just stopped, like he had to step down because he was housing an MS member in his house.
Yeah, I was thinking about talking about that, but
sorry, I found that out today. I was like, what?
I was like, should we or shouldn't we? And I was like, I got 3. Do I need 4? So I was like, I'll leave that one alone. But if you want to talk about it, I'm certainly game. Terry might be aware.
It's just there's been so many judges, and that's the one that got me the most pissed. Like, you know what this guy did, and you had him in your house. I'd like people to start being treated like the traitors they fucking are.
Well, explain it to everybody to bring everybody up to speed.
So I admit I don't remember the name of the guy, the judge's name, but he's been one of the judges prosecuting Trump's case for sending these MS members back to
Salvador.
El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
And like a month ago, they found that this judge that's been pursuing him has been housing a guy.
Mm.
Took a picture of him in his house, handed him a gun.
His daughter did. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the cops now have this guy because well, for one, he shouldn't be in the country. And for two, they gave him a fucking gun. These are the people who want to take your guns away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because
Actually,
you're not the right type of people. They don't want the wrong people to have guns, the white people.
Actually, it was a couple of guns. The this girl April, the daughter, is a big gun advocate. So she was giving him her guns to go target practicing with. Supposedly he was walking around armed with one.
Mhm.
He was carrying.
Knowing what
No
he
license.
did. Like, didn't he? I don't know if he's the right guy because there's a couple of guys that they've been prosecuting, but I thought he was the guy who basically raped his own wife.
I'm hearing rumors that this immigrant and the wife of the judge had a little something going. Like, you know, maybe cuckold bull kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mm. Maybe the judge is a little gay. He's into it.
Hey.
I'm being rude now because the guy's a piece of shit.
I'm just hearing a lot of sexual innuendo going on, and that's the one that seems to be rising to the top, is that she met him, liked him, and said, "Hey, judge, we should have him move in and service me." So, because he was like a pool guy kind of deal, gardener, that stuff. So he came in and did some work for them, cut the grass or something like that, and she said, "Ooh, back." So, yeah. So there's a little bit extra spice going on there. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody say anything definitive, but it's just an awful lot of rumors.
Yeah.
A lot of rumors, usually where there's smoke kind of deal.
It's just this kind of stuff is really highlighting who the Dems really are. They are everything that they're pointing fingers at us for.
That's right. I have a Tom McDonald song.
Yes.
But all the same, I hope that at some point, and this is going to be on the American side. Like, I can't influence what you guys do, and I'm not going to tell you what to do because that's not my job, and I don't want to go to jail. But you really need to deal with some of your judges, maybe even on both sides. Look into both sides, because if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is being somewhat neutral, then they shouldn't be judges.
You can't be neutral when the other side is literally Hitler, Jen.
But everybody's Hitler. So who do we prosecute?
So, yeah, I mean, I almost put that in as a fourth topic. I was this close, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. But I didn't put anything in, so I don't have all the details on it either. So I don't feel like you had to have all the details. But
I don't even have all that, so it's probably better not to. I just saw the basic story and was like, ship them all out.
The Democrats are doing everything they can to keep these people in the States. I don't get it. The entire country has said, get them the fuck out.
Yeah.
And they're still working on trying to keep them. They're going to lose in 2028. They're going to lose the primaries. People are going to lose. People are going to, I mean, I don't even know.
I could see them losing seats in their own states.
Yeah. Well, 2026 is going to be a bloodbath. I said the bloodbath word. That's dangerous.
Uh-oh. That's it. Stream's over.
Yeah. But 2026 is you're going to see a lot of Democrats in trouble because they're continuing to push this. The governor of Maine is going to be out. She's going to be so out. You know, that whole thing with the governor of Maine saying that she's going directly against Trump and his, yeah. So her constituency, specifically, this is a blue state. Her constituency is 76%. Get them out. Even the people in her state are against her policy. And she's still not She's still not backing off. She's gonna take him to court and all this kind of stuff. I don't know wherever came of that, but did you see the actual interaction between him and her and Trump?
No.
It was at like a meeting room kind of deal, like you would see like in a hotel where they have a bunch of tables and servers to come out and take care of you. They have like a little dinner or something, kind of stuff. And he's talking about it, and he mentions her by name, and she says, "Well, we'll see you in court." He's like, "Good, we'll see you in court because I'm going to win." It's great. It was great. Very Trumpian response. So
Yes.
you really can't. You know, if you're gonna have a problem with Trump, the best thing to do is keep it quiet in front of cameras.
Yeah.
Because if you embarrass him or challenge him in front of a camera, he's just going to bring all the guns.
Of course.
You know, so.
Or if you are, can you actually bring up something that he might be missing for a change instead of stuff that we already know you're losing on? Like, I don't doubt that the guy is doing some stuff that he could. Nobody's perfect. You know, I don't believe that. And I don't believe he is either. You know, so if they actually came up with valid stuff that he could look at, I would hear them out, but they don't. They just have crazy stuff that they're hyper focused on because I think George is just paying for all this shit between George and BlackRock and all these people not involved in the US.
George Clooney, not George Soros.
Even George Clooney said, "I'm out of here." After he saw what happened at the debate with Trump, he was like, maybe I was wrong. So
he got flayed alive for being honest about Biden. Like, just for being like, no, like, Lord forbid somebody is honest about Biden losing his marbles. They're still doubling down on that.
Mara got flayed alive for being civil about Trump.
Yeah, that's true.
So much so that his next show was particularly brutal on Trump to try to get people off his back. I watched it.
That's dumb. Don't try and pander to these people. It's never going to work.
That's Mar. That's who he is.
Well,
he wants to be on both sides, but he also is scared of both sides. So.
He's more scared of his side, and I actually appreciate that because his side is scary.
He does go up against the woke pretty good, though. I don't know of anybody on that side who goes up against the woke better than him.
It's probably because he knows them better than they think.
Probably. Sure. Why don't you guys run the show for a few minutes, because I haven't been paying attention, but I have a thermometer and a thermostat in the house, and it says that it's 83 degrees in this room.
Okay.
I don't know why it's so hot in here. The rest of the house is okay, but for some reason in the studio it's 83 in here, and I'm starting to look around like, why is it so fucking hot? And I looked at the thermostat. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's 83 in here. 83.4 in here. So it was 83 and a half. So I'm going to open up the window, and this will take a second. I'll be right back.
Sure.
All right. So none of that nonsense. Let's talk about the important things. There's a new version of Oblivion coming out.
Yeah, I've been watching some people playing it, and I've been enjoying the fact that some of the game developers for failing games are crying really hard.
It is.
Because Oblivion's doing just fine.
I have never liked a single game in the Elder Scrolls series, so I have no interest in Oblivion, but I have just enjoyed seeing all the drama over the body type A, body type B instead of male and female. But yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like Bethesda.
Mm-hmm. If they're going to throw something in there, they're going to.
It's yeah, as I was saying on Twitter, I don't actually care about the body type A, body type B thing in and of itself. I just see it as like a warning sign that if they're going to do this, the people who use body type A and B have a very long history of making absolutely terrible games. So if I see that, that's like oh, well, I probably shouldn't buy this. It's like it's not the problem. It's just warning that there will be problems.
So far,
playing it right now, apparently.
So far, it doesn't look like it's been too mangled. But I mean, I haven't watched a whole playthrough, and I haven't played it myself. I'm not going to get involved in a big game that.
From what I can discern, it's basically the same as the original Oblivion, except for the body type A and B stuff. So it seems like they did it to pander to the woke, but didn't actually ruin the main game. So if that's the case, then like it's not really worth worrying about. But if there's other changes, then they're probably not for the better.
Like suddenly characters that were originally straight are suddenly gay for no reason.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, I woke up at 30 and realized I liked the dick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rotten Corpse says he doesn't care about the game. I've never been into the Elder Scrolls. I don't think there's a single Bethesda game that I've liked outside of Fallout 3. And I only liked Fallout 3 because it was like novel at the time, because I had never actually had a first-person shooter where I was able to aim, because you had the whole VAT system. And it was kind of novel actually being able to hit things in a first-person shooter, because I'm usually terrible at that. But Elder Scrolls I've never liked, ever.
Well, yeah, it's just, I wouldn't say it's not for me. Sometimes I just don't get into certain games.
Enough people were singing the praises of the Elder Scrolls that I decided to try it. I don't see the appeal. I'm glad that the people who like it get something out of it, but yeah, it's not my kind of game.
And that's what I appreciate about you, Terry, is that you don't need to play every game.
No.
It's like it doesn't bother you if other people do either. It's like, oh, okay, well, you have fun with it. Like,
I'm not going to sit there scowling at my screen that JB is playing Oblivion and I personally don't like Oblivion. It's like, of course not. Play what makes you happy. You like a game that I don't like? Unless you don't like Super Seducer. That is unforgivable. But anything else is fine.
It's not about playing every game. It's about owning every game.
See, Hammer gets it.
Not about watching every movie. It's about having it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what should be fixed in the gaming world, is that certain people need to get over the fact that no, not every game is for you. It's not going to cater to everybody. It might cater more to some people sometimes and other people other times. And you'll find your own games. There are so many out there. You'll find a whole bunch you'll like.
Of course. I'm going to make Rotten Corpse unhappy. I didn't like Dark Souls either.
The only time I've watched Dark Souls, it was called Drunk Souls. You take a shot for every death.
Yeah, I mean,
longest playthrough you'll ever watch.
I played it briefly. I didn't like it. Just, I don't know. I found it kind of clunky and cumbersome. I'm sure that the later games have improved on that. I'm sure Elden Ring is like a vast improvement over the original Dark Souls, but I played the original Dark Souls and it didn't click for me, so I just haven't played anything else in the series.
Would you say that side scrollers are your favorite type of game in general?
For me, fighting games is probably my favorite. But yeah, I mean, I do like side-scrolling platform games. I mean, I grew up playing Mario.
Oh, there you go. I don't seem to have a particular format. If you look at the games that I've played, they're kind of all over the place.
Oh yeah, me too. If you look at my Steam library, there's all sorts of garbage in there, like from all sides of all different genres and all sorts of different things.
You have a specific type of game that you like, Jen?
I do more survivals. When you look at my list, it's kind of clear that I do, but I prefer the ones that allow you open world, or at least to make stuff. Like, I like the introduction of creativity to open worlds, but I don't like all of them, because a lot of them end up just copying from each other, and then a lot of times when they're doing it, you're like, this doesn't even make sense to your storyline. Assuming there is a storyline, because a lot of survivals don't really have that.
That's always been the case in video games, where something will be popular, then everyone else will just like, oh, well, let's do that then. Let's do the same thing that worked for them. It'll work for us.
And then not realizing it doesn't work for everybody. Like, it will for some storylines, but not necessarily for everything. I played a lot of Ark. I played a lot of 7 Days. I did some Pal World. They did the they them for them too. I'm like, why would you do that? You guys were doing so well.
Yeah. But like Among Us got popular, so Duck Duck
Yeah.
Goose came out, which is the same game.
Never mind what they did to The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
I feel so bad for the people who are enjoying that show.
There aren't really that many specific platforms. You have stuff like side scrollers and stuff, but if you kind of look back at how things are configured, all of these games where you're running behind, you're in a camera behind somebody in a 3D environment, all of that stuff goes back to Wolfenstein 3D. That was the first game to do that. But even Doom and Quake and all the games that came after it were all just the same thing. You're running behind, you're a camera behind them. Even World of Warcraft, while being in an open environment, it's still you're behind a guy running around. All these more modern games. What's the one Angelina Jolie did?
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. Yeah, again, you're behind a girl running around doing things. It's the same game. It's just different characters and a little bit better of an engine. Then different characters and even better engine. It's just all on the same thing. And ID created that platform. I mean, somebody would have eventually. But then you have side scrollers and stuff like that, or top-down games like Command and Conquer, Total Annihilation. Yeah, those kind of games. I mean, they all seem to be variations on camera view. Even side scrollers are, the camera's to the side of you and running along next to you. How do you innovate in a way where it isn't just based on where the camera sits?
Well, I mean, that's the developer's job, to find some interesting new direction to take the genre.
How long has it been since anything really different came out?
Well, I mean, a long time, but you've got to remember we've been infested with the woke mind virus, which basically criminalizes innovation and novelty because it might offend someone.
And attractive characters. They really, really hate attractive characters.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, I'm not supposed to like attractive characters, but I hate to break it to
no,
you.
that's evil. How dare you, Dan?
Yeah, I know, right? I kind of do. I mean, sometimes I've made an ugly character just for the shits and giggles to mess with my friends.
Johnny is right. He did get 7 Days to Die for me on Steam. I played it for a couple of hours. I did try and get into it, but it really, really is not for me. Yeah, I remember it was like Johnny, Camel, me, maybe Della was there. And they were helping me. They were trying to explain the game to me and help me through it, and I could not get into it. So no, I appreciate the gesture of buying me the game, but yeah, no, not for me.
You would hate Ark. Don't waste your money on it, because it's like that. Only think of a game that forces you to take off all of your other games.
Oh dear, no.
They don't really make a game that I think I would like to play at the moment. I'm hoping at some point someone remembers back in the day where they used to have a mod to Quake called Capture the Flag. It was still a first-person shooter, but you worked with a team, and it was a flag capture game. They don't really have that. Not in a first-person shooter kind of format. I mean, Heroes of the Storm is kind of that idea, but it's not first-person.
See, I would say there definitely are games that you would like. It's just that finding them is going to be difficult because there's so much clutter. If you go onto Steam, there are very, very good games on Steam, and they're about 5% of the games on Steam. So you've got a lot of junk that you've got to sift through to find the actually good games.
Well, if anybody knows of a first-person shooter that has a capture the flag component, I'd be willing to try it.
I'm not a first-person shooter guy, so I can't help. But yes, if anyone in chat does have suggestions, please send them in.
Yeah, I should probably post something on the Minions Discord server.
And
some hits,
yeah,
maybe.
JB's saying he doesn't like 7 Days to Die either. Yeah, I mean, different games, different people. I mean,
I'm still playing Descent.
yeah, it's going back a ways.
Yeah, it's going back quite a way. I was just talking to a guy yesterday. I guess I remember a long time maybe telling you guys about that I used to run a multi-user dungeon text-based game, MUD.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of friends back in those days. I was going under a different name. I wasn't going under Hammer. I had
It was the one-ton screwdriver.
I had, in all of the other gaming circles I've been in, I've had a different name. Back in the days of MUD, I was Zero, Zero. And I ran my own MUD, and other people who were on the type of MUD that our code was all based on, all kind of self-propagated. The code was written in C, and it was written by one guy, and people got copies of it and modified. Each MUD has its own flavor because they modified the code to them. But it all started out as something called Emlen, E-M-L-E-N. That was the guy's last name.
Okay,
So we all gotten copies of this Emlen code, and there was a place called Rites of Passage. There was a place called Fate. There was a place called Everwar. There was a lot of different MUDs out there, and I had one called Methods of Destruction, MOD for short. And it ran for 5.5, 6 years. And we had a pretty big player base, but I kind of lost it when I got into World of Warcraft. I was like,
fair enough.
You know, the visuals kind of drew me into WoW. So I was like, all right. So
unironically, World of Warcraft probably killed most of the interest people had in MUDs, because it was basically the same thing, but you had graphics instead of text. Right. And people were it's just so much better.
Yeah, it's a graphical MUD. You didn't have to type everything.
Yeah, it was also one of the first really brilliant world builds, because even if you didn't play the main game, you could still live in Fantasyland and WoW.
Well, it was the thing about World of Warcraft is it was based off of Warcraft, the game that came before World of Warcraft. So you still had the humans and the orcs. They just took it and made it into an open world.
Well, they created characters for all the characters in Warcraft. Like when you go back to the original Warcraft and you realize what characters are what, like goblins were in Warcraft, so were gnomes, so were dwarves, so were griffins.
Sure.
You know, so it's a little bit like, I remember all that stuff. I would play a lot of the night elves. They're just really bad if you're stuck in a forest.
Night elves are cool. They have really long ears.
And Tier in chat is saying he prefers strategies and RPGs. I like strategy games. I am terrible at them.
Play Total Annihilation. I still have it on my computer. Strategy game.
Like if I play Civilization or Rome Total War or Heroes of Might and Magic, I enjoy playing them on easy, because I will get destroyed if I try and play against a computer that actually tries to win.
I usually play me against the computer, or if I have friends play, it's me and my friends against the computer, because you can tell the system how many computer opponents you want to have.
Right.
Now the game gives you up to 4 computer opponents natively, but a patch came out that allowed you to bring it up to 10 computer opponents. I've been playing so long that I can play 1 versus 10 and still win.
Yeah, nice. That's pretty good.
That's on hard mode. You can't make it any more difficult than that.
See, I found a way to actually enjoy. I think it was Civ 4. What I could do is you set the map to the absolute biggest setting possible, and then you only have you and one opponent, and it automatically puts you on opposite ends of the map. So I could just sit there building my city and being left alone, and then eventually I would get to space and win. And there you go. I found my method of, and then in the 5th game they took that away, and the number of computer opponents was tied to the size of the map. So if you went with the maximum size, you had to have like 7 opponents or something. It's like, okay, you ruined the one good thing about 4.
Keywordam says her favorite game is Pong.
Yeah, I mean that's going back away. That's classic.
I was there. I mean, there was an arcade that wasn't far from where I grew up. That I played my share of playing Pong, and what was the other one with the little things that would come down the screen? Space Invaders.
Boom, the aliens.
Boom, 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 boom.
Johnny says Heroes of Might and Magic is difficult regardless. Yeah, I mean, I'm just terrible at the game, so once they took away the ability to cheat, I kind of just lost interest in the series. In the third game, you could type in, I think it was NWC averting our eyes, and that would give you 7 archangels, which is like the most powerful unit in the game. It give you 7 archangels in every single slot. It's like perfect. Now I can't lose a fight. now I can actually start winning some games.
For older games, I remember that I liked that. It's probably laughable. I didn't hate Tetris. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, Tetris is good.
Yeah, would I play it for hours? No, but it was fun. I did laugh at the Mario game that they were trying to play off like they didn't copy, with the pills.
What was that?
Dr. Mario?
What was that game where you were kind of looking down a tunnel, and every level, the tunnel had a different shape to it? And you had a paddle for a controller, and the paddle used to go around the outside of the shape and fire down the shape towards into the center.
Like Asteroids, maybe? Or?
No, Asteroids is a flat screen with asteroids floating around. You have your little guy in the center who shoots a little spaceship. This was, the tube would take the entire center of the screen, and you'd have this little, you'd have the paddle as your main control. So you would spin the paddle left and right to make this thing go around the outside. I'm sure chat's gonna come up with it. Where's Jack when you need him?
Yeah.
And you used to fire down, and little bugs would come up the tube and try to get your guy, and you would shoot down to try to. And once you got to a certain point, it would go and it would bring you up to the next level. It was really cool.
Tetris? Commander.
What?
Is Commander the game you're thinking of?
No, Tempest.
Oh, okay, Tempest. There you go.
I think it was Tempest. I mean, I've been sitting here racking my brain trying to remember the name, but I think it was called Tempest. And, I spent so much money on that game. The 2 games I spent money on the most was Tempest and Space Ace. No, was it Space Ace?
Oh.
No, it was the other one. It was the one before Space Ace. It was
Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair. Yeah, Dragon's Lair. The fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the fair princess from the clutches of an evil dragon. You know the whole thing.
I think it had that famous animator. Was it Don Bluth who did?
Yes, it was Don Bluth. You're correct. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
I remember Nintendo in the prior to the Wii console that they had. So I remember some of the games that they had that were interactive. You had to buy a pad for it, and I only know this because I had a friend who had one, and games for it. You had like karate games, you had exercise games. Sometimes there was a bike one where you're running on the pad and then you have to jump to make little leaps in the game. I think a lot of that is why my Nintendo is dying, is because they're so stuck on their shit right now. The innovative ideas are limited, because they literally had kids fighting over a pad. It's just a plastic sheet that had the basic squares, circles, triangle thing on it to indicate going up and down and side and left. And it was the beginning of the Dance Dance Revolution shit. That stuff lasted for a long time.
And this is one of the most difficult decisions I've ever had to make in my life. The music poll.
Oh yeah. I have a favorite. So
I think I know what your favorite is.
You may.
No, you just made it in time for the poll, Costin. We just started. Good timing.
I have a 1 and 2, and I'm interested to see how well I do. Because a couple of these are more popular than the others, I believe.
I would expect so.
Good. We got more votes than we did last week.
I'm not going to be able to predict who's going to win the poll, unfortunately. I like all 4 songs. I'm not sure about the relative popularity of each of them.
Well, we'll see. Give everybody a chance to get there. Get your votes in, folks. And 5 votes, and we got 13 people, so get your votes in.
Yeah. And Hate Camel is saying that the last time he played Civilization 6, I actually won the game, which I do remember that. I thought I came second, but I guess I won.
Didn't know you can win those games. I thought it was one of those. I've got my city set up and everybody's happy and it just goes on forever. I didn't know you can actually say.
No. There is a win condition. So Civilization usually has like 3 or 4 different ways to win. Obviously, Conquest is always one of the options. If you kill all the other players, then you win. There's usually like a culture victory, where if you spread your culture to enough other towns, then you win that way. There's winning the space race. If you get the technological victory, you know, if you're the first to build the rocket ship and send it up, you win that way. There might be some others, but like there's usually several ways to win, and generally different players are working on different win conditions, and that's like the game. Is you've got to work on your own win condition while disrupting the opponent as much as you can.
You've got to be a huge micromanager to win that game. Well, everybody has to have a school, and we have to have medical, and we have to have a library, we have to have this, and we have to. Some people are dying because of this. We need to have that. Oh, jeez.
Camel has reminded me. Camel is, I won by way of terrorism. That is right. I remember now. Thank you, Camel. You are absolutely right. I remember that now.
Yeah, I'm still on Heroes of the Storm. I think I'll be on that game for the rest of my life.
I mean, if you like it, why not?
I haven't found anything to pull me away from it yet. I just identify so strongly with the characters that even if the game idea is duplicated, I won't leave because I like the characters so much. Because League of Legends is out there, and League of Legends is arguably much more popular and much more polished because Activision's basically abandoned Heroes of the Storm, right? I mean, League of Legends is still being developed. Heroes is not. So they won the Dota style games, but I just can't bring myself to play League because I didn't care about any of the characters that you would play. What do I care?
No, that's absolutely fair. I mean, if you've got a game that you like, you shouldn't stop playing it just because, you know, it's no longer supported by the devs. I mean, if you like it, keep playing it.
Also, League is technically kind of dying out. It has to do with the kids. They're trying. Well, it's just kids get bored with stuff, and
they do.
A lot of them are kind of outgrowing it, so they're trickling away. And that's not to say they're not still trying to get people in, and it, you know, it's not going to die right away. But no, they've had a decrease in their numbers, and I think they're trying to add new characters to try to bring people back. But it's not a new game anymore, and a lot of the kids that grew up with it are leaving college now.
Yeah, true.
So, you know, like you do reach a point where you're too busy to play games all the time, you know? And League seems like one of those ones that you kind of have to dedicate your time to.
You do, yeah.
So,
funnily enough, the guys who make League of Legends are also making a fighting game. And I saw a video on like this guy who played the alpha test. He's saying this game has a lot of problems.
The other thing that I could say with League of Legends, it really does have to do with the toy sales. And I only know this because of the last store I worked at. But it was hard pushing their toys. That's usually a pretty good indicator of decline, is when the toys start to drop. And it was one of those things where they were really only selling when they were dropping in price. Like they, you know, parents would still buy the toys, but they're not going to buy them at full price. Not when their kids aren't as interested anymore. So like they're waiting a year for toys to drop down to like 40% because I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if people are really into something, they're not going to wait for the discount unless they're broke.
Yeah. I mean, put it this way. I spent like $100 in Street Fighter 6 because I'm into Street Fighter as a series. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't like heavily invest in the series. If it was just like a game I kind of enjoyed, I'd wait until it was 75% off. And we do in fact have a tie in the poll as
Yeah,
always.
and we have 9 votes, but still have a tie.
Yes. So if you are watching but have not voted, then kindly stop dicking around. Get on to that.
Don't even be kind. Just say don't dick around. See if we can get at least 10 votes out there. We only need one more vote from somebody. Just pick something random if you don't know the songs.
So the last thing I was going to say about the gaming stuff, and it's mostly because I'm a troll.
Mm.
Now that Minecraft has had its movie out, I would like new Minecraft to make Steve round.
Oh,
it
okay.
makes more sense to the world because he's the only round thing in it.
I never got into Minecraft. It's funny. All of the like really big popular games just never resonate with me. And, like, I've got all these like weird indie bits of nothing that I actually end up enjoying.
I couldn't see you taking it seriously, Terry. Like, I could see you having fun for like maybe half an hour, taking the piss out of it, but
yeah, maybe. Oh, and someone has voted, and they voted in the worst way possible.
Now a 3-way tie for first.
Yep.
That's okay.
That's pretty funny though. I gotta.
If we get 2 more votes, we could have a 4-way tie.
True.
Then you're not helping. Right, we'll let this run and see if we can get 11 or 12 out there because we have 13 viewing. So if someone's not.
Well, I mean, there's still what, like 10 minutes before you can close the poll, so there's still a chance.
You know what would be funny? If you got a 4-way tie and you're like, how do I do this? And you just mixed up the song 4 different ways.
Well, there has been an 11th vote, and so the tie has been broken.
Oh, look at that. We have a leader. All right. You want to take a shot at some of the topics? Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Delayed was what's that one?
That's Zelensky being accused of intentionally prolonging the
dragging
war.
out the war. That's right.
Yeah, Trump's pretty upset about it. I try to stay away from talking about Trump on the show, but he's the one who said that he believes that Zelensky's doing this on purpose, and what he wants from Trump's perspective, he's just trying to keep delaying it until the United States kicks in some money.
And
the United States
I can believe it. I mean,
doing it.
I have no doubt that Zelensky is corrupt as hell. Just that you don't need to sell me on that one. I'm already on board.
I just don't get it. I just don't get what's going on because doesn't he have enough money? I mean, he's got
There's no such thing as enough money.
Yeah, but he's skinned so much money off of what was sent to him. He's got to be rich enough now where he can just live comfortably the rest of his life and never have to worry about anything ever again.
But what if he had even more hammer? You're not remembering. There could be even more, and then he wouldn't have that. So he needs to continue grifting.
Does he have kids?
I have no idea.
Somebody asked Gronk. And X. Does me and my typing LENSKY have kids? And yes, Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has 2 children with his wife Olena. There's a good Irish name, Olena. A daughter named, oh my God, no, that's not her name. Her name's not oh my God. OLEKS Alexandra.
That's probably how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Born in 2004, and a son named KYRYLO. How the fuck do you pronounce that?
Kirillo?
Kirillo? Come on, man. You name your kid Kylo. Born in 2013. So he has 2 kids. Say he has somebody to give the money to after he dies. But I mean, how much money do you need?
I mean, he probably just wants to be buried with it. Like, fuck those kids. What have they ever done for me? I'm getting buried with my money.
Well, we have 12 votes, and we have a tie for first.
Oh, they tied it up again?
Yeah. 33 and 33.
Well, there you go. You might need to be the tiebreaker if we don't get a 13th vote.
It's tough. Those are the 2 songs I would pick. So I'm tied as well. But it's inside 15 minutes towards the end of the show, and I have to move files around and stuff like that to get ready for the show. Yeah. Instead of just saying, oops, I didn't do this. Maybe I should actually get ahead of it this time.
That might be a good idea. I think if I had to guess what you'd pick, I definitely have an idea in mind.
All right, we'll see. We're at 13 votes. We'll give you another 15 seconds. I'm saying that at 9:47:30. We'll give you another 30 seconds until 9:48. And I'm pulling the trigger. So get your vote in now. Here's your opportunity to change, save the cheerleader, save the world.
Yep.
There's a TV show that should never have been canceled. That's almost as bad as Firefly.
What show was that?
Heroes.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
Yeah. That's where they got the new Spock from.
I've never seen it, but I've heard of the show.
It was pretty cool. It got kind of goofy, but it was a kind of cool, a lot of cool effects. There was a girl who would see herself in the mirror, and the person in the mirror it's her, but it's not mirroring her. If you look at the mirror, and the other person looking back in the mirror would not be moving the same way.
Right.
It's really like, wow, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I remember that from the show. Like pulling my trigger.
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch that right. At first I thought Keyboard said it. I was like, yikes.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting.
Please tell us more. It's 9:48, 55, 56, 57, 58. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Better pull it. All right. I'm gonna have to pull the trigger.
I was wrong. I thought you would have gone with Faint.
It's a close, man. I liked Faint first because I heard it first. I used to play a game called SSF. What the fuck did they stand for? There was a name for it.
Super Street Fighter.
It was Sheriff Special Forces, SSF. And it was a first-person shooter, and your job was to save hostages. The game would create a building and create hostages, and you'd have to go in and clear the hostages without getting killed by the terrorists. And you had to exercise the same kind of system that you would in real life to clear a room. So you have a guy facing forward, and the guy would reach past him to unlock the door, so the guy in front of him could cover the door. Because if you didn't do that, they'd open the door and kill you. So you had to do everything in a true real life tactical way. It was a great fun game, but you had to have 6 people minimum to play.
Gunsky has reprised his previous role of heralding the end of the stream.
Good timing. So let me go ahead and copy that file onto my desktop, so when I need it, I can play it. I don't remember why I brought SSF up, but it was because the guy who did the promo for us for our team did a whole graphic promo for our clan or guild or whatever you want to call it, and he used Faint as the background music.
So okay, cool.
That's why I first heard Linkin Park. Pictures. Got to get my pictures folder to get the music for the show. Nothing ever changes. Copy, paste on the desktop. Good. We're ready to get out of here now. True. Yeah, it's been a long time since I played that game. Used the same name though. Still used 0 for that game too.
Cool.
Yeah. Back in the days of Quake, I used the low ball. Not what you think.
Yeah.
Jen.
Well, he's an old man, but they tend to droop.
This is when I was youngin' though.
Good.
Never told you about low ball? I never mentioned that
Yeah.
during the stream? Okay.
No, you told me. I don't know if you told chat. But
I used to play pool religiously for years and years and years. And it seemed like whenever we were playing 8-ball and I broke, I would end up with 8 or less on the balls that would drop. I always ended up with low balls on the table, 1 to 8. So when I would come into the pool parlor, all my friends would say, low ball. It kind of became a norm kind of thing with cheers, you know?
Yes.
So I actually had a license plate in my car with low ball before the DMV said, you can't use that. I was like, but it's not what you think. How many times I could tell you people I've said that phrase when talking about my license plate. I used to go on these drives with a club, like a little rally club, and we would just drive like the back roads of Pennsylvania or Virginia, depending on where you are. And my license plate said that, and I can't tell you how many women would look at that plate and then look at me and then look at the plate and look at me. I was like, it's not what you think. Yeah, but the Pennsylvania DMV, was it Virginia DMV or Pennsylvania? Well, one of them came after me and said, you can't do that anymore. We have to do it. Anything, amazingly enough, anything with the word ball in it was illegal.
That's weird.
I know. And the funny thing is, low ball has a legitimate, it's a legitimate word. If you're if you're bidding on a contract, you can lowball the bid. It's a legitimate thing to say. But nope, wasn't allowed to keep it. They gave me a generic plate and said, you know, come up with another name or just use a generic plate from now on. So I was like, great.
Then you went with droopy balls, and then everyone was...
and that was fine. And they had no problem with that one.
No, the last time I played a pool game, it was at somebody's house, and they had a cat. It was fun.
Okay.
You don't shoot the balls at the cat. You just watch the cat put all the balls in the holes, and you're like, okay, you won, cat.
I have not played pool in a very long time. I was never good at it. So.
I had my own sticks, not stick, not singular. Sticks is in plural. Still have them. They're in a controlled environment too.
Yeah, I'm always kind of happy when somebody still has a pool table, like they still play it, because it's a valid game.
Yeah,
it's still a valid sport.
I don't have a table, but I still have my sticks. I haven't played in a long time, a couple of years. But I had like sticks, backup sticks. I had a brake stick, a stick to use specifically for braking because of its balance.
Okay.
And I was pretty serious when I was playing. Never was really that very good, but I did play for a long time. Made a lot of friends. That was the thing that I liked most about it. So I made a lot of friends.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of billiards anymore either. Like places with pools, and our need to interact with each other is dying out more.
There you go. Instead of low ball, change it to nuts and bolts.
Dangly things. We can come up with a lot of different things that we probably fit.
Or like cue the 8-ball.
Well, I guess we got 5 minutes. Probably talk about the other.
The Tesla one?
Well, yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on a little bit earlier, but and Jen got very upset about it, rightfully so.
Sorry.
Rightfully so. I mean, you were saying what I was feeling too. It's really something that someone can do $20,000 worth of damage and not even get a slap on the back of the hands.
It's going to encourage more is what it's going to do.
Yeah, it
Of
is.
course it is. That's what they want.
The thing is, the people who did lose money from that, whether it be a dealership or individual humans, they can still file civil claims against the person who did this.
Hmm.
So there's still that. He's not going to get a criminal charge. And that may,
They should, though.
yeah, well, that may, I mean, they not only did you do damage to the cars, but they were parked on asphalt, which has to be redone. You know, so I mean, and if they were close to a dealership, they could have melted the outside of the dealership. There's all kinds of money that could have. They just talked about $20,000 worth of cars. What else did they burn?
That's true.
So, and then it's going to be a civil claim, and then how are you going to get money back? Did this guy have some kind of insurance against burning cars?
Yeah.
I mean,
not.
how do you reclaim that? You take him to court and put him in jail until he can pay? Well, he'll never pay because he'll never be able to get out of jail and get a job. What do you do? Just garnish his wages and he gets fired? I don't know. It's a lose situation no matter what. As long as he's not a criminal.
I think, I'm going to co-opt Gunsky's comment and say we bury him alive in a box. I think that's the restitution that is required. It won't get the money back, but it'll solve the problem.
It's more about making sure that they discourage this kind of behavior. Like, I get some people are mad that Elon is not on their side anymore, but this is going to lead to somebody causing physical harm to a person.
Yep, of course it is.
Someone's going to get a Molotov cocktail and not be able to get out of the truck in time.
You know, and these people don't care. They're sociopaths. They're on a warpath that's absolutely crazy.
Well, they have no
I would be going after the
anything.
judges. I would be going after the judges.
Yeah, I hope they do. But they have no power. They can do nothing. So they're doing all the weird things. They're twisting in the wind, looking for something to scream at. You know, you see them on TikTok and on Twitter and stuff like that, saying the most ludicrous stuff that has no basis in fact, even remotely.
Like the mental health of the left is frightening. Like if you know who's going in the asylums, it's so many of them. It's
to the point now where you're afraid what the next. It seems to be getting incrementally worse as time goes by.
Yeah, because they're allowed to get away with it.
Right. They're just a bunch of little children.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like thinking back on it, like they've been hyping it up since that guy took a pot shot at Trump. Yeah. And it hasn't stopped since. And it's like, we get it, Democrats. You kill people you don't like. But the rest of us are like, stop being like that.
You see that video?
I hope they're never voted in again.
Did you see that video of the guy? He screams and he turns 90 degrees to his right and screams again. And then turns 90 degrees till he does a full rotation. Screams at the cardinal directions. North, south, east, west. It just screams. Just screams. That's all he does. Doesn't say anything coherent. It just screams. And then the video ends. That's it.
Sounds about right. Sounds like your average leftist.
No, it's realizing that the Democrats
are as if they're going Trump, 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 Trump in each direction. Then that would be truly epitomizing the left.
It's also the visual of just how much the Democrats don't give a shit about their own citizenry.
Of course they don't.
You know, like
that's reflected in everything.
It's reflected in their homes. It's reflected in their cities. It's reflected in their attitude and how they treat other people. It's reflected in what they think is their moral compass, which is fucked up.
You're not wrong. The world is not working for them and they have no way to change it. They're frustrated. Instead of saying, well, maybe the world is working right and I'm wrong, they can't do that.
No, of course not.
They're of a lemming mind. One person jumps off the bridge, they all jump off the bridge. And you stop them. And
something cool at the bottom of the cliff.
You just stop them on the way over the bridge and say, you don't want to do this. You don't want to. Yeah, okay. Next person comes, no. Like, what is wrong with you people? You're just falling out the bridge and killing yourselves. Don't do that. And they don't want to listen. They just jump off the bridge.
They call you a Nazi for trying.
Yeah. Get out of my way, Nazi. Well, I just don't want you to. Oh, well.
It's like I'm gonna lead into the last topic, and we can make that one short. But it's like Pope
Yeah.
Francis. I
Mm.
didn't particularly care for the guy. I do think he was a communist, and I
not a
kind of
good
thought he
Catholic.
had I think he had a weird fetish for feet.
Yes.
But at the
Oh,
same time,
interesting.
though,
Didn't know that.
well, he was all about kissing Muslim feet. But at the same time, though, I didn't wish death upon him. I thought he was harmful for his community, but I didn't wish death upon him. So, you know, in all fairness, sir, rest in peace. Hopefully they can do some of your requests. I don't think they're going to for a lot of them because your beliefs I don't think fit in with a lot of Christians, but you don't wish harm on people. Disagree with somebody, have a conversation. Use your words. Don't go to wishing death and burning fucking cars.
No, I think Monkey should be the next pope. That way they don't even have to change the name.
I think it probably pushed a certain number of Catholics away from Catholicism, maybe towards
I think so.
Orthodoxy or something like that, because Orthodoxy doesn't recognize the divinity of the Pope.
Right.
You know, he's just a leader, administrator under Orthodoxy, where Catholics say, you know, he is the Word of God on planet Earth. So they're both, otherwise Orthodoxy and Catholics are probably the two most alike.
See, I like the Orthodox Church because as a kid it meant I got 2 Easters. Because the Orthodox Easter is a week. Usually, it's a week after the regular Easter, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
And since my grandparents were Greek, they did the Orthodox Easter, and my like direct family, like my mum and stepdad, did the the Catholic Easter. That's twice as much chocolate.
Do you do the Lent pancakes too? Because
no. Now that I'm an adult, I don't do Easter at all. I visit the family and say hi to them, but it's not a celebration like it was when I was a kid.
But you used to do pancakes then, though?
No, I don't remember pancakes. I remember the boiled eggs that were painted red, and we used to crack them against each other. And there was biscuits. The Greek biscuits were good.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking to a lot of my English friends, so I wasn't sure how much of that carried over to, we have it too, the carryover as a colony, but they kept talking about pancakes for like a week, and all I could crave for a week was pancakes.
No, I didn't get those as a kid, but there you go.
Well, if you ever visit North America, I recommend you try some pancakes.
Yeah. But we probably should get going. We're running a little bit over time.
I was going to keep you guys talking until someone said something. I didn't want to interrupt.
Sorry. What did we pick for the music?
What I've done.
What I've Done by Linkin Park.
Yes.
So I guess we can get to that now. Thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the Minions are live every evening, except for Thursday. Not Tuesday anymore.
Johnny officially moved days, did he?
Yes, Johnny officially moved till Tuesdays now. So we will have an opening for Thursdays. Most shows starting at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 6 days a week. Hosts and start times are linked in the description down below. Volume is too high. Don't forget about the Rumble pre-show. That stream will start generally a half an hour before YouTube. A little late tonight, but we got it taken care of. We'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual, because we're always on time. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye, guys.
This song always makes me